Since the founding of the United States, the government has tried to deny citizens their Second Amendment rights. This goes from the U.S. SCOTUS case, U.S. versus Cruikshank in 1876, which said that people don't have a right to bear arms, but only limited Congress on enacting laws, to the founding of the ATF in 1972 and beyond. While we may technically have a right to bear arms here, this right has been repeatedly encroached on by those who wish to control us. In the 90s, the CDC covered up numbers and studies showing how often guns are used in self-defense. Those studies showed about 2.2 million instances of self-defense using firearms in the year 1994. Current numbers have decreased to 1.67 million as of 2021. Violent crime, caused largely by repeat offenders, happen in a few dangerous select counties. Studies also show how if the 5 most dangerous street addresses, which contain 99% of all violent crime, are almost all progressive controlled, and if we want to account for these areas, the US would place much higher in world safety. Gun control has proven to not reduce crime and only encroaches on people's right to defend themselves. The more we let them get away with stealing our rights, the less we will have, and the more our world will look like the book 1984. The CDC has hidden statistics that would have otherwise shown that the AR ban of the Clinton era was a bad idea and a horrible policy. According to Professor Gary Kleck of Florida State University, the CDC covered up studies that showed that in 1994, there were 2.2 million uses of firearms in self-defense. Professor Kleck showed how guns were used defensively 3.6 times more often than offensively. He showed how the CDC covered up these statistics even though taxpayers were paying for those studies. Politicians will continue to use our tax dollars to crush our rights while padding their own pockets. On a side note, this is why the First Amendment is important and allows us to criticize our government. The Second Amendment is what allows people to stay safe, not waiting for the police to come and save you, very possibly after it's far, far too late. When seconds count, the police are minutes away. Being able to defend yourself is a natural right everyone is entitled to. A large number of Americans use firearms for self-defense. In 2021, firearms were used 1.67 million times in defensive means, according to Georgetown University. While it is true that the amount of times Americans defend themselves with firearms is down, so is most crime. Meaning the reason for needing to harm others in self-defense is down. This is obviously a good thing. The higher trust our society is, the freer the market can be, and the less harm is inflicted onto others. In order to create said society, we need not just trust in each other, but we need deterrence for people who wish to inflict harm on others anyways. This comes in forms of punishments and deterrence, and there isn't any better deterrent than possibly dying, not because the property owner values their property or their life over yours, but because you value their property and life over theirs. As the left consistently and correctly reminds everyone, you should never, ever blame the victim. A few small counties and street addresses have the vast majority of crime. According to The Hill, which lists the top 15 most dangerous cities, they are all heavily Democrat and progressive. Though not all of them are in Democrat states, all of them are in blue counties which have strict local gun regulations. This leads to violent criminals having guns and leaving innocent, law-abiding citizens defenseless against a ranged attacker. Leading, furthermore, to more and more reliance on the police, who get more and more overworked and stressed, leading to more mistakes which progressives love to backlash against. Continuing down this trend of few areas being the most crime-ridden, according to crimeresearch.org, 2% of all counties have 51% of murders, and a majority, 54%, of all counties don't have a single murder in 2014, most of which were rural red counties. Taking this one step further shows that 99% of all violent crimes were committed on 5% of street addresses, according to the Igarapé Institute, a foundation based in Brazil focused on research-based solutions and debates. All this means that so long as you don't live near these areas in America, you are going to be extremely safe. To those who would say that America is an unsafe country, I challenge you to find contradictory evidence to mine. Professor Kleck, whom I mentioned earlier, has disproved much of what left-wing sites such as PolitiFact try to push. It's time to settle this debate. Guns are a net positive for society. They save more people every year than they take, and that's a simple fact. Most violent crimes occur in deep blue areas in cities, and the government clearly can't be trusted to honestly and accurately report figures on any issue, let alone an incredibly important one like this. Trying to take guns away is an immoral act, causing more people to be defenseless. Everyone is entitled to defend themselves and to be allowed to have the most effective tool to defend themselves with. Restricting guns is a simple move towards Orwell's 1984, not towards a more perfect union. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. LSD out.